The Gospel and the Church. We are getting into the last chapter of the letter to the Galatians. This week the lesson focuses on chapter 6 verses 1 to 10.
And it looks like in this lesson, or as it follows in the 6th chapter of the Galatians, Apostle Paul turns his focus now on some in-house church dynamics. What are they? This is the object of this week's study.
How do we live the Gospel as community, as church? Our individual experiences share the same common touch to God, but are also very personal and different.
The followers of Christ were getting baptized, and then they were living and walking in the Spirit. However, what if one of your friends, or even a distant member of your community, loses his or her way in the Spirit and is caught in a sin? Do you have already an answer? Paul suggests that we should restore that person gently. And I would add also that I should think twice. I should give it a second thought before I act upon it. Rushing into any quick conclusions and making inconsiderate decisions could have some long-term consequences, doesn't it?
Paul talked about this internal controversy in every one of us, this conflict between two natures. How do we support each other in this journey? Apparently, it's much more fun to see others struggling and to point to their mistakes. But the Christian experience is supposed to be different.
It's good and it's honorable to help someone who has lost his or her way in Christ. But the question, though, is it harmless? Am I immune from losing my way in Christ while helping somebody else? Paul makes some serious warnings that should sober any of us if we find ourselves in such a situation and circumstances. His advice is to keep a careful eye on yourself because you might be caught by surprise by the same sin. Also, we can slip in a spiritual pride kind of a state when we help others, when we compare ourselves with others, and lose our awareness of being the same sinful nature like the people around us. So, be aware of temptations, helpers.
When the focus is so much on what we do or what others do, the risk to fall or to think of yourself as so great is big.
Another in-house for the church matter that Paul talks about is found in verse 2, chapter 6, where the apostle encourages us to carry each other's burden, because in this way we will fulfill the law of Christ. The lesson makes a great point that we all have some sort of burdens. There is no exclusions. They might differ in shape or size or form, but we all have them. What's interesting is that Paul talks of a type of people who think they can carry their own burdens alone. Apostle Paul sees human pride in it, and he has a special message for them. They deceive themselves. So, be ready to open up and share your burdens.
It's interesting how Paul first says to carry each other's burdens, and then a couple verses later he says, for each one should carry their own load. The author explains that the words that are used are different and that there are burdens that we can carry and share, and others that no other human can bear for us, such as guilty conscience, suffering, and death. The key though in the lesson is, how do we fulfill the law? By caring for each other. We have a lot to learn and to grow in this.
And the lesson closes with Paul's famous phrase, a man reaps what he sows. In fact, he connects this same phrase with the whole book theme of us trying to engineer a new way of salvation, or as he calls it, pleasing the flesh instead of walking in the Spirit. So my conclusion will be that we should sow good generously by walking or living in the Spirit, and then we will reap life abundantly.
If we focus on us and what we do, we will reap from it. Let's keep our eyes on Jesus and reap from the Spirit. We'll be wrapping up the study of Galatians next week with the lesson Boasting in the Cross.